After getting my hands on every book I could on the subject of discipline and trying everything I could to build up my discipline muscle, I realized that sometimes the small things that build up our discipline the most. That's why in this video, we're going to explore 5 1-minute habits that can start helping you build your discipline today. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jorge Calauz. I'm a business lawyer based in Florida, specializing in high stakes lawsuits. And in this channel, we explore the principles and the strategies to help us live more productive, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. Discipline habit number 1, the 1-minute rule. The 1-minute rule states that if it takes you less than 1 minute to do it now. The reason for this is that we often have a ton of items or tasks that really just take less than 1 minute to do. But because they take less than 1 minute to do, we feel like they're somehow not important, and so we just kind of let them pile up. But that's the problem with these things, is that they pile up. And we like to think that they don't affect us, that we just pile them up over there and they don't affect us. But in reality, when they pile up, they are taking up the bandwidth in our brains. We know on some level, whether it's consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, that we have all these tasks that need to be done. And even though they each take less than 1 minute, our brains know that we have a bunch of tasks that need to be done that haven't been done, that aren't being done. And so that not only creates stress, but it takes up bandwidth. And a really great way to reduce bandwidth is to do all of those tasks that take less than 1 minute, because that is how you're going to reduce the most amount of, let's say, items taking up your bandwidth in the shortest amount of time. When your bandwidth is less stretched out and you're more relaxed and calm, you can think better and it's easier for you to be disciplined. I actually made an entire video on this concept of bandwidth that I'll link up here. And also, knocking these small tasks off the list helps build self-confidence, which brings me into discipline habit number 2, which is the 1-minute commitment. Every morning, or the night before, if you prefer that, commit to achieving one specific thing for that day. When you do this consistently, when you set out to achieve one thing every single day and you end up achieving one thing every single day, you end up building self-confidence. Now, you might have heard me talk before about how self-confidence is just a fancy sounding word for self-trust. So the example that I like to use is that if you sit on a chair and the legs break off, you don't trust that chair to hold you up anymore. In other words, you expected that chair to hold you up, and then when it didn't do what you expected it to do, now you don't trust the chair. A similar thing happens with ourselves. If we tell ourselves we are going to do something and we don't do it, we lose trust in ourselves. If we have an expectation of ourselves that we don't meet, we lose trust in ourselves. And a lower self-trust is another way of saying a lower self-confidence. And so when you set these little daily challenges of I'm gonna achieve one specific thing for this day, and then you do it, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, even if you fail 3 out of the 30 days in that month, if you get 27 out of 30, that's still what, a 91%? You still got an A. I mean, that's still gonna build your confidence even if you don't get it perfect. And it's certainly gonna build your confidence more than if you weren't setting out to achieve things and then achieving them, if you were just doing nothing at all. And so now all of a sudden you're doing a few things. Number 1, you're building self-discipline because you're saying you're gonna do something and then you're actually doing it. You're building self-confidence because you're doing the things that you said you're gonna do. And number 3, you're associating self-discipline with self-confidence. And so it's a trifecta of effects that benefits you and your discipline muscle, because number 1, you're building the discipline muscle directly. Number 2, you're increasing your self-confidence, which makes it more likely that you are going to be disciplined because you believe in yourself. And number 3, you're associating the nice, great, excellent feeling of self-confidence with self-discipline. And so the next time that something is hard, it'll be easier for you to think of the long-term pleasure of self-confidence as opposed to the present pain of discipline, because you have done it so many times and you have achieved that level and that feeling of self-confidence so many times that your mind has become very familiar with it and it can generate it more quickly. And so that idea that you're going to feel good about yourself when you actually do something helps you fight the pain of actually doing the thing at that moment in time. But the way you're best able to connect with that pleasure is by experiencing it over and over again until it becomes a subconscious association between discipline and self-confidence. Now, the intellectual component of this also helps. If you can intellectually connect discipline with self-confidence, that can definitely help. But what will also definitely help is emotionally connecting those two things. And the way you emotionally connect those two things is by experiencing those two things until your subconscious mind links them together on a psychological and emotional level. Which brings me to discipline habit number 3, which is the 1-minute push. The 1-minute push states that every time you have to do something and you feel resistance, push through and do it. Now, here's the key thing. The harder it is to push, the more you should push. The more resistance you feel, the more you should push against that resistance. Why? Because discipline is built in the moments that it's hardest to do the thing. If it's easy to do the thing, you're not building discipline. Discipline is built when the thing to do is hard. And so when it's the absolute hardest, when every single one of your demons is fighting you, trying to get you to not do the thing, giving you every ounce of resistance possible, that is your moment to tell those demons to back down. And the more you can tell those demons to back down over time, the less those demons will come up at all. But remember that if you don't feel a strong sense of resistance, those demons are not coming out. And if the demons are not coming out, you're not telling them anything. And if you're not telling them anything, they're just going to do whatever they want. But it is in those moments of strong, extreme resistance that those demons, the inner demons that we all deal with, that we all battle with, it is in those moments that they are coming out. And it is in those moments that you can put them in their place. And nothing will make self-discipline easier for you than doing that consistently. Intellectually understanding this reframe will really help you push through when things get really, really hard. And to quote Tony Robbins, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. When it's hardest to make the right decision, that is when you most build up your discipline. Discipline habit number 4, the 1-minute gratitude check. Every morning when you wake up or every night before you go to bed, spend 1 minute writing down in a journal everything that you are grateful for. What this does, especially if you do it every single day, is that over time your mindset will start to shift into a mindset of gratitude. And when your mindset is more geared towards gratitude, you are less likely to quit when things get tough. When you face that resistance and those inner demons, you are less likely to say, why me? And you are more likely to say, you know what, let's just get through this. We can get through this. Let's do it. So gratitude is essentially a spotter for your discipline muscles. A spotter is somebody in the gym when you're doing a workout, they help spot you. In other words, they kind of put their hands underneath the weight in case you can't lift it. And part of what they do is, number one, they help make sure that you don't get hurt or injured. And number two, if you're really struggling at the end, but you just need a little bit of help, they'll spot you and they'll help you really push through and really use every last bit of your muscles on that rep. And so gratitude works in a similar way to the spotter, because your discipline muscles don't have to do that much work, because the gratitude, the mindset of gratitude is helping your discipline muscles lift that weight. And finally, discipline habit number 5, the 1-minute detox. Every once in a while, take 1 minute to go through your following on your social media apps, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, subscribes, or whatever it is, whatever platform you use the most, TikTok, whatever it is. Take a minute every now and then to go through your following and remove or stop following or unfollow all the negative people you can find. Now, this can look like a old friend that is always complaining about their life. This can look like somebody that messages you nasty things. You just should have already unfollowed that person, but if you are still following them, go unfollow them right now. This can look like unfollowing certain political accounts whose content tends to heavily lean negative. And then on top of that, you can go out of your way to try to find positive, encouraging, inspirational, motivational, happy-go-lucky, whatever you want to call it, content that makes you feel good and makes you grateful and makes you hopeful for the future. Things that make you feel good about yourself in the world instead of making you feel bad about yourself in the world. And so this 1-minute habit works very similar to the 1-minute habit of gratitude, which is that it helps kind of spot your discipline muscles, because when you remove the negativity and you remove that toxicity, not only is that not weighing you down, not only is that not weighing down on your discipline muscles, but if you replace that with positivity and encouraging things, those things all of a sudden become sort of a spotter for your discipline muscles. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really enjoy this video right here on 5 psychological tricks to become more effortlessly disciplined. And as always, if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it and want to join the community, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on so that you're notified every Saturday when we put out these videos. And also make sure you check out the link in the description box below where you can sign up for my weekly email newsletter where I send you content like this every Monday via email to get you started for the week. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.